Okay, good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's CDBG Office Hours. I'm Mike Phillips, Federal Program Specialist. Also on the webinar, we have Felicity Gusser, Federal Program Specialist, Mamie Early, our CDBG Section Chief, Susan Holt, our CDBG Program Manager, and from our ICF team, we have Ann Schmidt, Lexi Baru, and Lauren Pollock. If you are unfamiliar with how to ask questions in Zoom, in your user dashboard, there should be a Q&A chat icon, and you can use that to submit questions. We do ask that you use the Q&A as opposed to the chat. You can ask questions anonymously, but we do ask that you leave your name, organization, or the region you're associated with. This just better helps us keep questions grouped together and track any follow-up. We will read questions out loud throughout the presentation and provide answers if possible. And all questions will be saved and recorded as part of the public record. With that, I'll pass it off to Ann.
Thanks, Mike. We wanted to provide a quick slide about the closeout completion report form. So this form was developed to replace grantees reporting on an annual performance report and instead collect accomplishment data at closeout. So this is part of a closeout process that you would work with your grant administrator or HCD rep to submit when your activity is completed. The form was developed to mirror HUD's database, IDIS, for consistent data entry. The Excel uses really complex macros to align all of the possible national objective and matrix code combinations. What we found since launching this form is that some grantees may have trouble enabling the macros needed for this form to function. And so we have tested it on our systems, both at HCD and ICF, supporting HCD on the CDBG CV awards. And so for those CV awards, your grant administrator can complete this form on your behalf with information provided by the grantee. So if you're struggling to use this form, please reach out to your grant administrator or your HCD rep to find the best way to submit this form. Some GAs may proactively be reaching out, so just be prepared. It's probably best that before you even begin or open this form to coordinate with your GA or HCD rep to determine the best way to ensure that a complete and accurate form is provided to HCD with your closeout packet. This will ensure consistent reporting to HUD, which is necessary to record accomplishments. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I'll take it over from here. For the CDBG program updates, for the 2022 CDBG NOFA, we have 42 recommended for awards, 5 are currently routing for final approval, 37 has been approved. For the 2023 CDBG NOFA, HCD released that NOFA for approximately $19 million in the federal funds of community development block grants. Underneath this NOFA, the department will only be accepting the applications from the projects remaining on the 2019-2020 over-the-counter waitlisted projects. Applicants cannot change the projects or budget. Funding is expected to be sufficient enough to make awards to all projects that meet the threshold criteria. So for the 23 NOFA, again, we dropped that on September 29th. The application opened this past October 30th, 2023, and the application will close on December 29th. There was an email that went out recently just to provide you some more updates. Upon review of the posted application questions that we posted in our solicitation tab, we noticed that under the bid ready plans and specs was missing. So please advise that we did update that information. And in addition to posting the question, applicants must also upload the certification from the jurisdiction that the bid documents are ready. So these are the type of questions that we have. So we did update that in the tabs files, the files tab. Also, another update that we just realized yesterday, just to kind of on October 31st, is that the 2023-24 resolution had some minor clerical errors on that. So we did update that information. So we did update a new version of the resolution template. So please, if you have pulled that resolution prior to 10/31, please take a look at the updated version.
Great.
And I'll pass it over to Mike.
Thank you, Mimi. So let's get into our Q&A recap from last week's office hours, or 2 weeks ago. The first question was on program income. The question was, I'm trying to understand program income and would like some help. When we receive repayments from our business assistance loan program, those repayments of funds then become program income as I understand it. Program income is subject to similar use guidelines as CDBG funds with some special notes. Program income must be used for eligible CDBG activities. Program income is subject to all of the rules and regulations governing CDBG funds, including but not limited to compliance with national objective, lead-based paint hazard treatment, etc. It cannot be used to fund a planning project, a feasibility study, project plan, etc. The grantee can expend up to 10% of the total program income received for general administration. My understanding is the general admin can cover our staff's time for administering the loan program and general program overhead costs. Some have inquired about the ability of GA to be reinvested in other governmental facility and infrastructure needs. And the answer to this was, we are working on getting our PI policy approved by HUD, and that's still pending HUD this time. As soon as we receive approval, we will publish it along with the guidance on PI reporting in eCivis. In the meantime, your HCD rep and or grant administrator can answer questions, give guidance, and connect you with one of our PI specialists. Everything written above is accurate with just a few clarifications. As long as receipted PI is reported in the grants management system and encumbered in a standard agreement, a grantee can expend up to 17% of annual receipts on general administration. The 17% calculation is based on all reported receipts for the most recently completed fiscal year. If you have a standard agreement under which you are making new loans available, you can count administration of a loan program, including servicing the loans in your portfolio, as activity delivery. Additionally, you cannot use GA for maintenance or repair of government facilities if it is not a CDBG eligible activity. If you have specific questions about what you can use PI for, please reach out to your HCD rep. This next question was also on program income. The question was, some of our supervisors understand that 10% of PI can be reserved by a county to be reused in projects as they see fit in needed capital projects. My understanding of CDBG is that all PI fund uses have to meet a national objective and cannot support general government operations or maintenance of basic government facilities. And the answer to this was, your understanding, as described in the second sentence, is correct. Once receipted and reported and encumbered in a standard agreement, a locally held CDBG PI can be used for anything that meets a national objective. There are two exceptions. PI can't be used for public services, and it can't be used for planning due to our statewide caps on funding spent on those activities. If you have more questions, reach out to your rep, and we can work with you to make sure that we're all on the same page to understand what you might want to use your PI for and get you on track with your application. Okay, this next question was on program income general administration. And the question was, the way PI is now, in order to spend PI in general admin, when you still need to do an amendment to inject that PI into your standard agreement. And the answer to this was, if you didn't have PI budgeted for general administration in your original standard agreement where PI was encumbered, then yes. you would need to do an amendment to add that PI into your standard agreement. If it's just moving a line item and it's not changing the overall amount of your program income to be used for general admin, that's a revision and can be done within the program. If it's actually additive of an amount that's beyond the original approved amount of your standard agreement, then you must go to your governing body for approval, and HCD would need to route an actual contract amendment. This next question was on, oops, sorry, 1 second. This next question was on the PI application. Question was, I have a PI application in process that is just about to be submitted. Do I need to make sure that it goes in prior to new applications being released in eCivis, or will the PI one I'm using stay live in the system after that date? The answer to this was the PI application we currently have will stay alive. We will communicate to grantees if we make changes to the PI only application. So the question was on the 2024 NOFA timeline. And the question was, I see that the time frame to apply under the 2023 NOFA is 2 months. Will the time frame for the 2024 NOFA be the same or longer? It doesn't leave a lot of time for community outreach and board requirements. And the answer to this was the 60 days has long been the time frame for submitting applications. We do not foresee this changing or expanding this for the 2024 NOFA. Keep in mind when we drop the NOFA, the application is not yet open. HCD gives 30 days for applicants to review the NOFA and do prep work, such as public outreach and getting approvals from the governing body. Additionally, when we drop the NOFA, we will provide the resolution that you can use for your governing body so that you can begin working on your resolution and have all the material that you need. If you would like to do your community hearings and meetings in advance, there is nothing stopping you from doing so, because the intent is to ask the community what they would like to see in terms of funding. That work can actually start now. So the next question was on funding caps. The question was, our concern with the time frame is more of the funding caps. We need to know what is eligible to apply for before we go out to the community. Otherwise, they get confused and upset if we do not apply for what they requested. Also, we have 9 communities to reach out to individually before we go to the board. And the answer to this was in the listening session last week, we went over the proposed limits. We did get some feedback, particularly on the limits for public services and planning, which we will be discussing internally. We'll do our best to give you the proposed limitations as far in advance as possible. This next question was on the newspaper posting requirements. The question was, posting in the newspaper is not a requirement at all. It will still be considered a location, correct? If we do continue to post in the newspaper, is there still a requirement to have it posted a certain amount of time prior to the hearing? And the answer to this was, yes, posting in a newspaper can be considered a location. All that we have done is remove the requirement that one of your posting locations must be a newspaper of general circulation. It's still an option if you feel that's the best way to reach some of the folks in your community. The publication time period has not changed at all. It is still 10 days. And the revised chapter 4, where you can find this guidance, is in the eCivis solicitation under the Files tab for the 2023 main application. Okay, this next question was on activity limits. Question was, regarding the limits for activities, we can let our communities know this is the information that we have from HED, and it may change, but we don't think so. Yes. And the answer to that is correct. Okay, this next question was on NOFA related documents. See, the question was, when posting NOFA-related documents, please post all documents on or before the NOFA drop date. I noticed yesterday I went to the files because I couldn't remember if I finished downloading the files, that 2 additional files were posted after the NOFA drop date. I don't know about others, but once I go to the files and download, I don't periodically check for updates. Perhaps it could be mentioned or announced that additional documents or updated versions of documents have been posted. And the answer was, thanks for that feedback. We did our best this year to make sure that all the essential documents were posted along with the NOFA posting. Anything that has been added is supplemental to assist grantees. The supplemental documents were intended to support the grantee. The documents posted for an example, a standard agreement and the GA grant calculator. For general administration, we created a calculator that can assist grantees by entering the award amount, and it generates the allowable general administration. It's not part of the application. Rather, these are to support and help you with the application. In the future, if we upload any additional resources, we will try and get them out to grantees. We are really striving for 2024 to have everything posted at once. So if we put something up that we link that will be helpful, we won't hesitate to do that because we want the process to be as easy as possible. Okay, our last question from the Q&A recap is on the augmentation funding. And the question was, when do you expect to release the CDBG CV project's additional funds? And the answer to this was, the augmentation funding memo is under review by legal, and we are working to get it out as soon as possible, slated in the next couple of weeks. Okay, with that, let's get into our live Q&A. And I just pulled up the Q&A, and it looks like we don't have any questions in the chat for now, or in the Q&A. I guess we did a really good job of answering everyone's questions. So we will go ahead and give everyone a couple of minutes, just get any questions. Oh, Brandy did ask, so are you going to post the unanswered questions from the listening session in here?
I can chime in on that. We are working on getting those responses for you for those remaining questions. I know Felicity and Felicity has been out and she's out today, but she's kind of listening in the background while she's traveling. But we will have the questions ready for before the next office hours. So thank you, Brandy, for asking and inquiring.
Thank you, Mimi. We've got a question from Lori. Can we ask application questions?
Sure. We have the capabilities of unmuting if we need to, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, Lori, 1 second.
Hi guys, thank you. I'm also driving, so I'm not able to type my question in. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So I'm working on the 2023 documents, and I'm getting the general information uploaded in, but I'm not going to have all of that information until the middle of December. And it won't allow me to open the sub application in order to begin my project portion of the application. And I'm leery about uploading things into those applications as a placeholder. So I just kind of wanted to, one, let you know that it is a challenge. And two, I was going to go ahead and move forward with putting in something in the placeholder, but documenting it, that why I'm doing it. That way, And I wanted to confirm that I can go back and update that as well, because issues with eCivis. Well, in the past, I've had issues with eCivis, dropping files and things of that nature. So I'm worried about uploading something in there and having it get stuck and then having that get submitted rather than the actual document that I need to have submitted. So
thank you, Lori.
Any advice?
Yeah, thank you, Lori, for that question. I actually, Jeannie and I and Susan, we were just chatting about that issue that you're having. So, Mike, I don't know if you want to unmute Jeannie so she can kind of piggyback on any of my comments that I made. I know that you probably haven't had a chance to see it, Lori, but she sent you the link to the sub application. So you can have access to that sub application. Okay. We're only pretty much doing that for the 23. So that's something that we're going to have to work out for the upcoming NOFA. So I just kind of want to put that out there for anyone who is like, hey, we're going to have access to the sub application. So we're doing that for the waitlisted projects. So we're giving you access to that sub application so you can do that. But I believe that
beautiful.
The workaround, if you wanted to upload something to get to the sub application, if you don't submit it, I believe, and Jeannie, you can correct me if I'm wrong, that you should be able to make updates to the application before you officially submit it. Am I on the right track, Jeannie?
Yes, Mamie, you are on the right track. You should, on the main application, you should have, after you complete the main application and the racial equity, the green button says save and continue to get you the link to the sub application. Even if you do hit save and continue, you should be able to hit edit to go back and edit whatever you need to on the main application. If you do have issues with that, we can also do that on the back end, force it to go back into the main application for you to adjust anything you need to.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, and thank you, Jeannie. I know I thought, I'll go ahead and ask here because everybody's here and we can get through it. The only other item that I had corresponded with Michael on was access to some of the YouTube videos because I have two clients that I was on vacation and one of them was on vacation. One they weren't able to attend, and we have to sign a declaration that they attended those trainings and they're not on the site yet. So I was hoping that we had some sort of an ETA as to when those would be available so that I can make sure that we get caught up on all that.
I'll turn to Mike. I know we were just discussing that as well.
Yeah. So I was talking to our IT right after I sent an email to you. I was talking to our IT guy last night, and we're thinking maybe by the end of the week he'll have everything uploaded. As soon as those hit our YouTube, I'm going to put together an e-blast with the links to each individual workshop and then the slides as well. I think we're going to end up posting those to the files tab of our 2023 main application, and that way, because it's going to take another business week to actually get everything onto our website. So that way, as soon as everything's available, we'll blast it out, and everyone will have access to all these trainings and slides.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, because it's a little bit of a coordination effort for their teams to view those as well. And I want to make sure that I look at them before I start filling out the budget forms and do it wrong. So I appreciate that. Thank you, guys.
No problem, Lori. Yeah, we have the one IT person that does our remediation and uploads the videos for the whole DFFA or I believe, DFFA. So, and he works part-time. So the rushes is not, I know. So we're kind of at his mercy when it comes to uploading those in a timely manner with his schedule and him being a one-man show in that particular area. So thank you for your patience. We appreciate it.
All right, perfect. Thanks so much. You can mute me again.
Thanks, Lou. All right, let's see. Our next question is from Kelly. question was, we have a jurisdiction that has asked us to consider their project for the 2024 NOFA. They need help for funding for planning the project for a fire hydrant. Let's see, they are LMI, LMA eligible. So I was wondering about the eligibility for 2024 NOFA. And then she followed FYI, they don't have fire hydrants. They need a system to rebuild in their downtown.
Okay, I know for the 2024 NOFA, we will have a competitive application for planning and public services. I know in our listening session, there was some requests to increase those amounts. We haven't came to a conclusion yet on those amounts, but right now, the amounts are about 250,000. So I know for the planning, it can be a feasibility study or it can be pre-development cost type of planning. So Kelly, if you can reach out to your HC representative, maybe we can have set up a meeting to kind of do a brainstorming of kind of get more details on the need of that community and what they're looking to actually do. They need a system to rebuild. So I think this requires a little bit more in-depth conversation and just kind of help brainstorm and help outline what a potential application will look like.
Great. Thank you, Mimi. Alrighty, that looks like all the questions that we have in the queue. Go ahead and give everyone a couple more minutes. Oh, here we go. Let's see, question from Lori. So we have a PI. We have PI. We are committing to a project in 2024, but we'll be submitting a 2023 application. The PI is available now. Are we okay to move forward with the 2023 and still setting aside PI for 2024? Are there any concerns?
Lori, I don't see any concerns. The only thing that we really ask is just that you guys have a plan for the program income and your attentions of what you're going to do with the program income. So it looks like that you have a plan and have every attentions on adding it to a future application in 2024. I think we're fine with that. It's just when we're asking you to report on the program income, we just want you to provide us if you have a plan. We just don't want it sitting at the local level with no plan. So yeah, we have no concerns. Thank you, Lori. Safety first. Thank you. And Michael, just to talk about that again, I believe in the PI reporting, there is a section for them to make a note of what their plans are with available cash on hand program income, right?
Yeah, you can put that into the narrative if you'd like. Yep. Alrighty. If there are no additional questions for today, we'll go ahead and close out. Oh, I see someone's hand raised. Oh, no, it went down. Okay. Alrighty. If there are no additional questions, we'll go ahead and close out. Thanks everyone for your attendance, comments, and engagement, and hope you have a good rest of your day, good rest of your week, and hopefully in this week's newsletter, we'll have a lot more information on, webinars and trainings and all that. So be on the lookout for that. And of course, if you aren't getting those emails, please send me a message, and we'll make sure you get on the list and start getting those emails. All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.